Hello there everyone, it's time for our Sun transit video. And now Sun is transiting in the sign of Leo alongside Ketu. So let's set the stage. So from mid-August to mid-September 2025, Sun takes its royal seat in its own sign Leo. Strong, proud, and at home. But this year the king is not alone. The king sits alongside Ketu. Ketu, the headless planet of detachment, has been sitting there for months, already occupying the throne. When the sun reaches 23 degrees in the sign of Leo on 9th September, it's going to meet Ketu directly. So first, let's be clear. This is a fairly common transit in the yearly cycle. It's not a skyquake or something. The conjunction itself is tight for maybe like 7 to 10 days, and then they start to part ways. So we don't sensationalize this. It's simply a time when the themes of the sun, which is authority, clarity, ego, illumination, is getting filtered through Ketu's lens of detachment and spiritualization. What does that mean at a collective level? What is the collective impact of this transit? When the sun sits with Ketu, leaders, whether political heads, CEOs, or your immediate boss, may feel a little less sure-footed. Their drive for recognition can fade, or they might turn inwards to question their motives. Some are going to step back from the spotlight, others are going to push harder to assert their authority, but it often feels slightly hollow. Now, the important part is that from Leo, the sun throws its seventh aspect onto the sign of Aquarius, the natural 11th house of networks, alliances, collective agreements, and also gains. So this year, Rahu is sitting here. Picture this, the king on his throne looks across the courtyard to the kingdom of networks. But Rahu is there, cloaking it in the mist, playing politics, hiding the treasure. The sun's gaze tries to cut through to reveal what's going on in the sign of Aquarius. But Ketu beside him says not everything needs to be explored or exposed even. He says, return to your own seat and ask what truly matters for you. So what we may see at the global level or at the organizational level is hidden alliances, secret deals, or the true nature of friendships and treaties starting to glimmer into view. Some networks dissolve quietly, others will realign. In trade, economics, or corporate dealings, certain gain sharing arrangements could be revised or even delayed. Behind closed doors, people will be negotiating their positions. But since Sun is looking at the sign of Aquarius, everything is coming into the open. There's going to be sharing of knowledge. There's going to be sharing of work in the open. Work is no more going to happen in closed doors or in closed cabins, especially for top leaders. And on a personal level, regardless of the sign, this period asks each of us, where am I seeking validation? Is it just for applause? And which friendships or professional alliances are real and which are transactional? What treasures like skills, contacts, influence am I hiding and why? The shadow themes of this transit is that there's going to be an inflated ego reacting to perceived loss of recognition, alliances that fracture under scrutiny, or the temptation to manipulate group setups for personal gains. And what's the part where we gain from this transit? What we gain is the purification of our network. There's going to be clarity about your role in the collective and a creative refocusing on what really matters because Leo is the fifth in the natural zodiac order. And that indicates creative output. And again, remember, the tight window is around 9th of September 2025. The rest of the month is more about the lead up and the cooling off. It's a short reflective pause, not really a crisis. Let's see what it holds for all the 12 ascendants. Let's begin with Aries ascendant or Aries moon sign. For Aries, the sun rules your fifth house, the house of intelligence, children, speculation, and your ability to take confident, inspired action. So when your fifth lord comes into its own sign of Leo in the fifth house, it's usually a proud time. You want to shine in your talents. You want to make bold moves. You want to express yourself fully. But this year, the sun finds Ketu already there, seated firmly on that throne. So what happens? The spotlight turns inward. Ketu says, "You know how to play the game, but why are you actually playing it?" So this is a time when your confidence might feel oddly muted, or when you find yourself pulling back from the stage to rethink your creative direction. If you are a parent, you might be reevaluating your approach to your children, not necessarily a crisis, but perhaps recognizing they need more independence, or that your guidance must evolve into one of maturity and not one of ego or brash behavior, you know. And Sun's seventh aspects from Leo falls on Aquarius, your 11th house of networks, of friendships, large organizations, and gains. Rahu is sitting there, meaning your wider social circle or your network of influence might be a little slippery right now. Even if you're at the top, if 99% of the people do not reflect your view, which is quite possible now, then there's definitely not going to be much support for you in the way you want things to be run. You may notice certain people in your professional or personal circle avoiding transparency. You know that there's shady things going on in your organization or in your personal circle. And what is the sun? Sun is the light. He's like the torch, and now his gaze wants to reveal the truth. But Rahu, you see, Rahu is the illusion. He creates the illusion of everything being perfect and does not allow the truth to come out, because Rahu prefers the shadows. And Ketu is now telling the sun, do not chase every illusion or every shady behavior. There's no point in these revelations. It's not worth the headache of pursuing every wrong thing that happens before you. And it says, this is a time for you to focus on your own life, your creative pursuit, or your evolution. Your growth matters more. And Sun is basically a bit of a selfish planet. So yes, it's going to dive deeper into what's in it for himself. However, the focus may change for you. The transit can still deflate your confidence. It can still pull you away from taking risks and speculation. But the good thing is that it's going to push you towards more meaningful projects represented by Aquarius. Recognition, yes, it may come, but the feeling might be subdued. You may care less about applause and more about the authenticity of your work. Since Sun owns the fifth house and is now transiting your fifth house, this gives rise to a double strength setup in the house of past life merits. And with Ketu here, it's now giving you access to your past life talents. You may feel an urge to revisit old hobbies, maybe revisit your crafts or teachings that you abandoned once. Also, fifth house is children. So, if you have children, you would now feel the need to expose them to a large set of people, to allow them to socialize more with people from different walks of life instead of restricting them to a group of people who you think are good. Sun is becoming more open to the possibilities of understanding what's best for him may not be the best for the rest of the world, especially your children. So he's letting loose the chain of command and authority and allowing for a more carefree life with regards to children. The shadow themes of this transit is that there could be creative blocks, strained rapport with children. There could be ego clashes in romance because fifth is about romance. And there can also be impatience with friends who seem self-serving. But what you gain from this transit is that there's going to be a purification of your social circle. You're going to rediscover what joy actually means. And that could happen through spirituality or through creative pursuits and gaining unexpected insights from an old connection. So, action for the 10-day window around 9 September 2025. Don't rush to finalize creative projects, investments, or romantic commitments in that week. Observe and note what comes to the surface. Take important decisions after the sun has moved forward into the sign of Virgo. And during that 10-day window, focus on quiet reflection and asking, what am I creating that will still matter, like in the long run, like in 5 years or 10 years from now? All right, that's all for Aries. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe below, hype this video, and share this with your friends and family. Next up, we have Taurus ascendants or Taurus moon sign. So for Taurus folks, Sun is your fourth lord going into the fourth house. The fourth house rules your foundation, home, emotional security, mother. It represents property, it represents vehicles, and also the inner peace that you cannot fake. So when your fourth lord comes into its own sign here in the sign of Leo, it normally feels like the king is back in his palace. The roots are getting the nourishment and sunlight, the home gets the warmth, the heart feels steadier. But this time, Ketu is already in that throne, and that changes the atmosphere. The sun still rules this sign, no doubt, but Ketu is stripping away the drum roll, the welcome band, basically stripping away the noise. Now, instead of redecorating the palace with flowers and garland, Ketu shuts the main hall for maintenance. The outer glow of a perfect home or a perfect car, a perfect family image becomes less relevant. You're asked to see what remains when you remove the showy security and focus on true emotional stability. Ketu says, what are you without all this fanfare and followers? Without your family who cheer for you? Do you think you could have become the person that you are today? That is the question that Ketu is asking. Who's there for you during tough times? That is what Ketu wants you to reflect on. Meanwhile, Sun from Leo in your fourth is aspecting onto Aquarius, your 10th house. 10th house is your career, public standing, authority, reputation. And Rahu is already there. That means the private and the public is now getting activated. There's going to be a charged dialogue between the two. Rahu in the 10th can create ambition, sometimes an obsessive push to be seen as important. The sun's light tries to illuminate the 10th house, but Ketu's influence says, don't let your career define your self-worth. Check on your foundation first. A lot may be happening at work, but now is not the time to be noticed at your work. Sometimes it's important for politics to thrive at work in order to know who's who and who's got your back and who does not. From a standard Vedic interpretation, the fourth lord in own sign is strong for property matters, domestic improvements, and emotional self-reliance. But the Sun-Ketu conjunction is suggesting that you may have to temporarily detach yourself from feeling relaxed at home or basking in the glory while something inside is being reset. Career moves may be delayed or strangely guided during this time. Also, the fourth house is the seat of your mind. And when Ketu joins the fourth lord in the sign of Leo, it can activate ancestral karma related to home, inheritance, maternal side, and also property lineage. You may now uncover old family stories or patterns that have silently shaped your sense of safety. Because fourth is emotional security. With the sun's seventh aspect, these revelations can influence your career path. Perhaps a change in your role or public focus is now getting triggered by something in the home or something that's happening in your family environment. So the shadow theme is that you could feel homeless inside your own home, even while the outer home looks fine. There could be dissatisfaction with your career recognition or a push-pull between family duties and professional ambition. You could also temporarily withdraw from social or public engagements. The gains that you're going to see out of this transit is that you're going to clear the clutter from your home and from your mind, realizing what security truly means to you. You're going to strengthen the roots so your public role does not wobble. You can't be successful at work if there's something constantly bothering at home, which needs fixing. So you're now going to be decisive in bringing your family relationships back to life, especially if there have been some kind of a problem, a rift, maybe somebody's not in their very best, health issues. All of this is now going to be taken care of by Sun Ketu conjunction. And of course, there could be losses if you neglect the emotional needs of family while chasing 10th house goals or making sudden property decisions during the conjunction window. So, my practical advice in the 10-day tight conjunction window around 9 September 2025 is that you need to avoid rushing into career defining announcements or property contracts unless the groundwork is truly solid and you're quite sure about it. Use the time to have quieter conversations with family, spend more time with them, especially your mother, and make sure the home supports the career, not undermines it. So think of it this way: the king is at home, reviewing his household with a monk like advisor before turning to face the court in the 10th house. This is your chance to ensure that the throne is in order before stepping into the public stage. And if this transit video resonated with you, leave a comment, share this video with your friends and family, and don't forget to hype this video. I want to be the Michael Crichton of astrology. So do whatever you can to help me get that recognition, guys. And next up, we have Gemini. Now, for Gemini, the sun is your third lord, ruling courage, communication, siblings, short travel, skills, and the way you take initiative. And this month, that sun comes into its own sign, the sign of Leo, in your third house, where Ketu is already seated. The third is normally a very lively place. It's the marketplace of your life, where you exchange ideas, your bartering influence, and asserting your will. The sun here wants to speak boldly, send messages, make connections. But Ketu, who's been sitting here for a while, is not impressed by loud declarations. He pulls the sun inward. He's telling the sun that before you send your message into the world, make sure you actually believe in it. And this is why, for some of you, your usual confidence in speaking or networking may feel oddly muted, or you could feel silenced. You might choose to withdraw from certain conversations, or you could feel less interested in competing for attention. And remember, it's not weakness, it's just refinement. That is what Ketu has given you. Sun's seventh aspect falls on Aquarius, your ninth house of higher knowledge, teachers, father figures, dharma, and also ninth is about long distance journeys. But Rahu is there, adding distortion. You might notice situations where mentors, guides, or even your own belief systems are a bit unclear, or it is somewhat politically motivated. And the sun's gaze wants to reveal the truth, but Rahu prefers to play the game. And Ketu is now whispering to the sun, don't go charging in to expose them. Strengthen your own seat first. Your words will have more weight after you reflect. Also, third house sun with Ketu can activate past life connections with siblings or your neighbors. There could be karmic debts that might now resurface. Some of you may even find that an old skill or craft you learned long ago suddenly becomes relevant again, almost as if life is nudging you to refine and carry it forward. The shadow themes of this transit is that there's going to be some amount of frustration in communication. There could be tension with siblings. You could become very defensive. Your travel plans might get delayed. Mentors who appear helpful may now have hidden agendas. And what you gain from this transit is that there's going to be a renewed focus on meaningful dialogue, something that has substance. There's going to be a rediscovery of an old skill. And remember, this conjunction is very short. The Sun and Ketu are truly close only for about 10 days around September 9th. This is not a crisis transit. Think of it as a pause for clarity than an actual blockage. So during that window, all I can say is don't rush to declare big plans or lock in major commitments. Uh, Observe what's being said and what's being left unsaid because both are equally important. And that's it. That's all for Gemini. If this resonated with you, leave a comment, share this video with your friends and family, and don't forget to hype this video. Next up, we have Cancer Ascendants or Cancer Moon sign. So for Cancer, the Sun rules your second house. Second house is wealth, values, speech, family lineage, and also the resources that sustain you. So in this transit, the Sun steps into Leo, its own throne, your second house itself, where Ketu is already seated. So here's the picture. The king has returned to his throne, but he's not alone. Ketu sits there too, quiet and detached, and instead of celebrating power, he's urging the Sun to look past the gold and jewels towards the deeper meaning of enjoying the wealth. Now, from the second house seats, the Sun casts its seventh aspect onto the sign of Aquarius, your eighth house, where Rahu waits in the shadows. The eighth is a dark chamber of your chart. It's filled with secrets, hidden truths, shared assets. It is about deeper bonds, the sexual bonds that you share with your better half. And sometimes it is family secrets or matters tied to your in laws. The king from his throne gazes into that chamber. His light is now sweeping across the floor, revealing strange shapes, perhaps hidden financial arrangements, karmic entanglements with in laws, or secretive partnerships. Rahu is now getting startled by the light. He's trying to shift things around so the king does not see the whole truth. And yet, even partial illumination is now going to change the game, giving you clues about what's been brewing in those hidden spaces in your kingdom. Also, Sun as the second lord here can stir karmic debt related to family wealth, ancestral property, or vows made within your lineage. The eighth house Rahu under the Sun's gaze can now open channels to uncover old agreements or patterns around inheritance and joint finances, but the whole picture may remain just out of reach until later. So the shadow themes of this transit is that there's going to be a feeling of sudden detachment from wealth or possessions, questioning what truly matters beyond material security, facing uncomfortable truths about shared finances or ties with your in laws. And what you gain from this transit is that there's going to be an insight into where your true resources lie, letting go of unhealthy dependencies, building a more honest approach to money and trust. And remember, while the Sun and Ketu share the throne for a month, their intense closeness lasts only about 10 days around September 9th. This is not a sign to panic or expect a catastrophe. It's more of a time to watch quietly, take notes, and reflect before making moves. So, in that window, if a revelation about your resources, family, or shared bonds come to light, don't rush. The king does not leap into the dark chamber. He observes from the throne, letting his eyes adjust until he truly sees. And then he charges with his henchmen, right? So pause and wait before you take the plunge, or Rahu could win the game. He could play smoke and mirrors. So if this transit video resonated with you, leave a comment, share this video with your friends and family, and don't forget to hype this video, guys. Next up, we have Leo ascendants or Leo moon sign. All right, for Leo, this is your moment. The sun, your ascendant lord, enters your first house, your own body, mind, and soul. It's the seat of your identity, vitality, and how the world is perceiving you. And there, already waiting, is Ketu, the spiritual wanderer who cares nothing for crowns or applause. So picture this: the king returns to his own palace, steps into the grand hall, and finds Ketu sitting on the throne. No celebrations, no fanfare. There's going to be a quiet stillness, and also a subtle reminder by Ketu that you are more than your titles, you are more than your image. What is your essence when all the gold and banners are gone? So effectively, Sun Ketu conjunction means that this is a chance for you to introspect on yourself, your body, your mind, and what truly matters to you. And from the seat in the first house, the Sun aspects the seventh house of Aquarius sign, the seventh house of your partnerships, contracts, your open opponents, and Rahu is already seated in this sign. He's working his political games. He's creating allure, temptation, or smoke around relationships, and also business alliance. So the king's light cuts through the seventh house, and it is revealing what's real and what's only theater. This can be a time when truth will emerge about a partner's real intentions, the balance in a business alliance, or even your partner's hidden tactics. Sun wants to call out the bluff, but Ketu is turning Sun inwards, and it wants the Sun to introspect on what truly matters for you. Are you going to chase illusions, or are you going to change your views, your desires about who you want in a partnership, or what you want from your partner? So this is a phase of introspection, reflecting on your wants and changing some of them in order to reclaim your throne. With the Sun as your Lagna Lord, this is a karmic checkpoint in your personal path as well. The presence of Ketu can momentarily pull you away from self-promotion and push you into self-reflection. It is as if the soul is now saying, lead from within first. The outer world will follow later. And also the seventh aspect on Rahu in Aquarius can bring faded encounters or shifts in relationships that feel oddly familiar, as if you've danced this karmic step before. And the shadow themes for Leo people is that there's going to be temporary dips in confidence, feeling unseen despite being in the spotlight, moments where public praise feels hollow. There could be sudden detachment from relationships or social expectations. The gain is that you're going to shed an old image that no longer serves. You're in the process of rediscovering your own self, attracting connections based on your true self, not just your outer glow, and attracting fake people. And like I mentioned in the introduction, the intense conjunction energy is a 10-day window period, peaking around 9 September 2025. The rest of the transit is kind of warm and steady, so no need to worry about this transit. This is not about drama. This is not about other people. It is about you finding your true self, you refining your expectations. The king does not rush from his throne. He sits, he reflects, and when he rises, it's with a renewed sense of self that cannot be shaken. And that's all I've got for Leos. If this resonated with you, leave a comment. Share this video with your friends and family. And don't forget to hype this video, guys. Next up, we have Virgo ascendants or Virgo moon sign. So for Virgos, this Sun Ketu meeting happens in your 12th house. The sign of Leo, which is also ruled by the Sun. So Sun is the 12th lord in the 12th house. This is the space of deep sleep. This is the space of relaxation, rest, foreign travels, spiritual retreats, and also letting go of attachments. It is the house of moksha. And normally, when the sun comes here, it lights up your inner world. It usually helps you see what's worth releasing. But this time, he's sitting with Ketu, the master of separation. And this is where it gets interesting. Ketu in the 12th does not just make you detached, it can actually detach you from detachment. Meaning, if you've been hiding away too much, lost in solitude or spiritual escapism, then this transit can pull you back into the world. It's like the king who went off to meditate in the forest, who got suddenly called back, or the king realizes that there are matters in the kingdom that only he can handle, and then he has to come back. The sun rules your 12th house itself, so he's at home in this sign. But Ketu's influence says, don't disappear just yet. There's unfinished karma to address. And with the sun casting his 7th aspect onto Rahu in your 6th house, you may have to deal with debt, health routines, or even confront rivals or critics instead of avoiding them. Also, this is a moment where secrets surface around your work environment. Because 6th house is about work, there could be disputes that you need to address, and some health issue could now surface. Things you thought were once taken care of, but it's not over yet, and these are karmic knots that need to be untied before you can take that vacation. But guess what? That vacation is not coming around anytime soon. I'm really sorry, guys, but maybe not yet. Maybe when Venus transit happens in 12th, that vacation can finally happen. And the shadow theme of this transit is that there's going to be an urge to hide when discomfort shows up. This time, life asks you to face things head on. And as far as losses and gains are concerned, you might feel like you're losing your peacetime. That protective bubble you've been building for yourself is now kind of blowing up on your face. But the gain will be a deeper, more lasting peace, the kind that comes when nothing is left unresolved. So go for it. Go ahead and solve that problem. And Rahu in the 6th is definitely here to help you deal with that problem or whatever it is that you're having a tough time with. Next up, we have Libra ascendants. So for Libra, the Sun and Ketu are meeting in your 11th house, the house of large networks, alliances, long-term ambitions, the resources that you gain from other people. This is not a subtle placement. The 11th is a big open court where the king usually steps out to wave at his people and count the taxes coming. When the sun is here alone, there's clarity about who your allies are and what gains are flowing in. But Ketu, sitting alongside sun, changes the mood entirely. Now imagine the king walking into his vast court and suddenly seeing the faces blur. Not because the people are gone, but because Ketu is whispering, not every smile is sincere, and not every ally is meant to walk with you forever. Now, let's remember what I've been saying. Sun-Ketu conjunctions are short-lived, only about 10 days. This is not a reason to panic, but it is a reason for you to pay attention. Between 1st September and 9th September, the sun will move closer to Ketu, and that's when you feel a kind of karmic audit happening in your network. You might find yourself rethinking friendships, group memberships, or even collaborations. Not because they suddenly turn bad, but because they no longer align with who you are becoming, who you're evolving into. You are craving for someone or something genuine and selfless, who will be there for you through thick and thin. You want a selfless friend in your life, and you're trying to manifest that friend, and that is what is happening when Sun goes into the sign of Leo alongside Ketu. The sun rules your 11th house itself. So in a way, this is the king in his own court. But imagine him hosting a gathering and suddenly feeling the urge to excuse half the guests politely. The review process is happening quietly without fanfare. You might notice you're less eager to socialize or to chase after every opportunity and more interested in keeping just the people and projects that truly feel right for you. Now, the seventh aspect from the sun falls directly onto your fifth house in the sign of Aquarius, where Rahu is already sitting there. Rahu in the fifth likes to experiment with creative ventures, with romance, with investments, even with speculative ideas. Fifth is a theater of possibilities. So, since Sun is aspecting the sign of Aquarius in the fifth house, if a romantic connection or creative project has been running on fantasy, Sun is now revealing that. If your romance or creative project is running without substance, Sun is helping you to see that very clearly. But of course, Ketu clouds. And on the other hand, if there is real potential, this is when it's going to get tested and given structure. Because Saturn is also retrograde and aspecting the fifth house. Also, this can bring to light hidden currents in your social or professional network. There could be secret alliances, unspoken politics, or opportunities that were never public. Ketu here can detach you from certain groups, but this detachment often leads to the karmic gains you're actually meant to receive. Sometimes moving away from one circle opens the door to a higher, more aligned network. Sun aspecting the fifth gives a glimpse of what it means to create or what it means to have a child as well. But Ketu pulls the sun inwards and asks, maybe you're not ready for this as yet. Maybe you need to consolidate your wealth before taking that leap, before taking the leap into attending to fifth house related matters. Rahu is fiercely chasing happiness in the fifth. Ketu says you can only find it in realizing your dreams. Sun is now about feeding that dream, that energy which is required to realize that dream, because he is, after all, the lord of that house. And as regards losses and gains, you might step away from friendships, online communities, or group efforts. You're going to stick to what works for you, and if it's worth your time, then that's what you're going to do. At first, it may feel like a social loss, but karmically, you're making space for connections that are truly valuable to you, that is mutually beneficial and valuable. And that is where the real gain is. And if this resonated with you, please leave a comment. Also, like, share, and subscribe. Hype this video. Next up, we have Scorpio ascendant or Scorpio moon sign. So for Scorpio, the sun meets Ketu in your 10th house, the great royal hall of your chart, the place where your public role, career, and authority are on display. This is the hall where the king does not just sit, he rules. Every decree, every public action, every visible responsibility, it all stems from this place. And when the sun is in your 10th, there's a natural pull to take charge, to be seen, to lead from the front. But now Ketu is sitting in that hall alongside Sun. You see, Ketu is not really interested in the applause or the throne's polish. He's interested in stripping away distractions, and he's interested in forcing the king to ask, why am I ruling in the first place? This is why for you, the first half of September, especially between September 1st to September 9th, when the sun moves into the exact conjunction, could feel like a professional soul searching. You might question the very purpose of your work, the people you're leading, and the kind of authority you hold. It's not about quitting suddenly. It's about rethinking your role so that it feels aligned with your deeper calling. You're a very deep sign, Scorpio. The sun rules your 10th house itself. That means the king is in his own hall. But he's sharing the seat with a figure who does not care for status. Ketu is a headless planet. It is content with itself. It does not care about titles, about ranks, about hierarchy. And Ketu is asking, if no one was watching you, would you still do what you're doing? I mean, this kind of strikes at the very foundation of assumptions. Would you do the things you do if there's nothing in it for you? This is a potent question for Scorpios because you naturally operate beneath the surface, preferring depth over display. Now, remember, the seventh aspect of the sun from Leo, the sun directly aspects Aquarius over your fourth house, where Rahu is currently sitting. The fourth house is the private palace, home, emotional stability, land, inner peace. Rahu here can make you restless about where you live. It can push you to upgrade your home, relocate, or even seek some unconventional domestic arrangement. With the sun's aspect from the 10th, these career and home matters become intertwined. You might be making career decisions based on where you want to live or rethinking your home life because of a shift in your public role. Also, the 10th house, Sun Ketu can expose hidden hierarchies, silent politics, or power structures in your professional world. You might find out who's truly influencing decisions in your field or where loyalty really lies among colleagues. Ketu can actually detach you from power struggles you don't need to fight, while the sun is trying to ensure your dignity remains intact. The shadow theme of this transit is that there could be an over identifying with your title, your position, or the public image that you've built. So, this transit asks you to lead because you believe in the mission, not just because you are of a certain rank or hold a certain designation in your organization, not just because you've always held that role. And as regards losses and gains, you may step away from certain high visibility roles, clients, or projects that drain you. At first, there could be uh, like a loss in prestige, but karmically, it's clearing space for authority that's more authentic and a lot more sustainable. So, Scorpio, in these 10 days, the king in your chart is learning that true authority does not come from the throne itself. It comes from knowing why you sit on that throne and what you make of that throne. All right? If this stirs something in you, do leave a comment. Also, share this video with your friends and family. And of course, don't forget to hype this video, guys. I want to be the Michael Crichton of astrology, and I want as much recognition as possible. So please, please share this video with your friends and family. Next up, we have Sagittarius ascendants or Sagittarius moon sign. All right, for Sagittarius, the Sun and Ketu meet in your ninth house, the sacred temple of your chart, the place of dharma, higher learning, spiritual truth, teachers, and long journeys, both physical as well as philosophical. So this is where the king leaves the comfort of his palace to seek the blessings of the divine and the guidance of wise elders. Now the sun here lights up your belief system. It's asking you, what do you stand for? But Ketu is already sitting in that temple, quietly removing the noise and pomp from your spiritual and also your intellectual life. Ketu does not care about the rituals for their own sake. He wants essence. So when the sun walks in, the two together strip away the layers of borrowed philosophies and secondhand beliefs. This is not a transit where you collect more ideas. It's a transit where you lose the ones that don't fit your truth anymore. And the key time period during this transit is from 1st of September to 9th of September 2025, when the sun gets close to Ketu. This is when a mentor's advice may suddenly stop resonating. A belief you held for years may feel hollow, or a long planned journey could get delayed, not as a punishment, but because the timing is not karmically right. The sun rules your ninth house itself, which means the king is sitting in his own temple. But beside him is Ketu, the great renunciate. And this can create a kind of paradox. On one hand, you may feel the urge to reaffirm your principles But on the other hand, Ketu is whispering, truth does not need to be defended, it only needs to be lived. And from Leo in the 9th house, Sun is aspecting the sign of Aquarius, which happens to be our 3rd house, where Rahu is currently transiting. The 3rd house governs communication, courage, siblings, self-effort. Rahu here loves to stir bold, unorthodox ideas, even provocation. The Sun's aspect is now illuminating these themes, possibly bringing to light secret conversations, alliances, or hidden intentions in your immediate environment, including your neighborhood. So this could play out as a sibling or peer revealing unexpected views, or you yourself realizing that the way you communicate must realign more with your deeper principles. Also, the Sun in the 9th with Ketu can signify karmic revisiting of past life teachers or teachings. Encounters now feel strangely familiar, as if you've met these ideas or people before. Ketu detaches you from philosophies that are not your own, while the Sun reaffirms the karmic thread of wisdom you're meant to carry forward. The shadow theme of this transit is that there could be blind faith in a teacher, in a guru, or institution simply because it is tradition. And this transit asks you to filter advice through your own lived experience. And as far as losses and gains are concerned, you may distance yourself from certain communities, spiritual groups, or even educational paths that no longer inspire you. The gain here is a pure, self-authored connection to your beliefs, even if it means standing alone for a while. So, Sagittarius, in these 10 days, the king in your chart is in the temple, not for the rituals, not for the offerings, but for the pure light that shines when all the idols, when all the symbols and words are stripped away. And if this resonated with you, leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new to this channel. Next up, we have Capricorn Ascendants or Capricorn Moon sign. All right, for Capricorns, the Sun and Ketu meet in your 8th house. The 8th house is the hidden vault of your chart. This is where all the secrets, inheritance, transformations, and karmic debts are stored. It's the chamber of life's mysteries, a place that only a few dare to enter. Willingly, I mean. And when the Sun steps into this vault, he's bringing a torch of truth. But Ketu is already sitting there in the shadows, not trying to guard the treasure, but removing all that is unnecessary, making sure only the essentials are kept in the 8th house. Together, the Sun and Ketu create a period where secrets, yours or other people, can suddenly come to light, or where you yourself feel drawn to investigate what has been kept from you, within your family. Because Rahu is now in the 2nd house. And the most intense phase is September 1st to 9th of September 2025, when the Sun comes very close to Ketu. This is when events may stir deep transformation, a revelation about family finances. There could be an insight into your own psychological patterns, or a sudden detachment from old fears and taboos. The Sun rules your 8th, meaning the king is entering his own vault. This gives him both authority, it gives him insight over that hidden place. But Ketu here is telling that authority is not about hoarding or controlling secrets. It's about letting go of power that comes from secrecy and embracing power that comes from clarity. From Leo in your 8th house, the Sun directly aspects your 2nd house of wealth, speech, values, and family lineage. Rahu in the 2nd can bring unorthodox ways of earning, shifting values, or unconventional use of speech. And the Sun's light here may expose the hidden financial dealings. It can reveal family secrets or make you re-examine what you truly value. If there's been financial manipulation, concealed assets, or unspoken agreements in the family, they could now be illuminated by the sun. You could now get a tax notice if you haven't filed your returns correctly or not disclosed, even by mistake, some part of your asset, and you better be very careful with that. The shadow theme for Capricorns is that there's going to be a need to control information or resources because of fear. Ketu pushes you to see that true stability comes when you stop clinging to what's hidden and start working with what's openly known. You may experience detachment from a joint asset, an old source of financial dependence, or even from a deep emotional entanglement. The gain, a lighter, cleaner slate in which your self-worth is no longer tied to other people's possessions or approval. So Capricorn, in these 10 days, the king sits in your own vault, shining his torch not to hoard the treasure, but to see what truly belongs to him and what must be left behind for good. All right, and that's all for Capricorns. Moving on, we have Aquarius. For Aquarius ascendants, the Sun and Ketu meet in your seventh house, the throne of partnerships, alliances, contracts, open dealings with other people, business associates. So this is not just about romance, it's about how you stand across from someone, whether it's a life partner, a business associate, or even a rival, and negotiate the balance of power. When the sun steps into the seventh, he comes with authority, warmth, and sometimes pride as well. But Ketu is already seated there, cross-legged, serene, detached. He's uninterested in diplomacy. Together, they create a short window where the spotlight falls on the relationships that truly matter and the ones that no longer hold purpose. The most charged phase will be September 1st to 9th of September 2025 when the sun draws near to Ketu. This can be a period where someone's role in your life suddenly shifts, a partner's focus changes, a business alliance redefines itself, or a situation calls for honest, even uncomfortable conversations. In a way, this could indicate a time of confrontation with the significant other, stripping away the ego and pride, humbling them to see your point of view. Now, although the sun rules your seventh house itself, meaning the king is stepping into his own court, although it gives strength and clarity to the matters of partnership, Ketu's influence strips away ego and shows you the bare truth. The essence of a bond without the decoration of status, without the decoration of promises or expectations. And from the seventh house of the sign of Leo, Sun is now going to aspect the sign of Aquarius, where Rahu is already sitting there. And this is important because Rahu in your ascendant is already pushing you towards reinvention, perhaps giving you a more ambitious or unconventional image. And the sun's gaze here can make you more aware of how others are going to see you or how others are actually seeing you, and whether that perception is authentic or merely a projection. And Rahu in the first always is about deception. It is hiding your true emotions. It is projecting a different kind of face to the public. And Sun kind of knows this because Sun illuminates the reality in the opposite house. But Ketu says, you're here to see what partnerships actually matter, not what the real intention of Rahu is. Also, Sun Ketu in the seventh can show karmas around past life alliances where your power was uneven. This life brings situation where those imbalances are exposed, allowing you to renegotiate terms, sometimes by strengthening bonds, sometimes by consciously letting go because Ketu's sitting alongside Sun During the 10-day window, you may not get the support of governments or banks. So if you have any dealings with the government, it's best you postpone them till the sun moves into the next sign. And the shadow theme of this transit is that you need to avoid clinging to alliances that exist only to serve your public image or social standing. Ketu calls for truth over optics. And what about losses and gains? You may detach from an agreement, a partnership role, or a long standing interpersonal pattern. And the gain? Relationships that remain will be more transparent, purpose driven, and free from hidden agendas. And that's really what we all want, right? Nobody wants fake people in their lives. So, Aquarius, in these 10 days, the king sits in his own court, but instead of reveling in the applause, he notices the quiet spaces between the conversations. He's taking a pause. He's noticing, he's observing where the truth of each alliance is set up, and the decision of who stands beside you next will be made quietly based on this revelation. And if this stirs something in you, please leave a comment. Also, share this video with your friends and family. And don't forget to hype this video, guys. Next up, we have for Pisces. The sun joins Ketu in your 6th house, the area of service, competition, debts, disputes, and daily responsibilities. This is the battlefield where problems must be solved, whether they are minor inconveniences or major conflicts. The sun in the 6th comes with authority and a will to organize, discipline, and win. But Ketu is already there, unimpressed by worldly victories, quietly removing the sense of personal attachment to the fight. Together, they make this a time where you may find yourself in situations that demand action, but without the emotional charge you might normally carry because of Sun being the 6th lord in the 6th house. The key period is September 1st to 9th of September 2025, when Sun closes in with Ketu. And this is when disputes can come on to a head or dissolve unexpectedly because you no longer feel the need to engage. Some enemies may simply fade out of your life, not because you defeated them, but because the karmic link no longer needs to be played out, you know. And Sun rules your 6th house itself, meaning the king is in his own battlefield. This can give you clarity on who or what your true adversaries are. But Ketu strips away unnecessary battles, helping you see where you've been fighting ghosts or wasting energy on trivial issues. And from Leo in your 6th, the sun aspects Aquarius in your 12th house. Rahu is already transiting. The 12th is the hidden realm of losses, isolation, foreign lands. And this aspect can highlight the hidden costs of your daily routines, your daily battles, the time, peace of mind, or resources that drain you. Rahu here may have been stirring hidden ambitions, foreign opportunities, or behind the scenes dealings. Now the sun's light peeks into that chamber, revealing what's really happening in the background. Sun Ketu in the 6th as a karmic checkpoint where debts owed from past lives, both material and moral, come up for repayment. These may appear as favors you must return to somebody, or the challenges you must face without pride, or situations where service is the only winning move. But, Sun Ketu conjunction in the sign of Leo means winning the battle effortlessly. So the shadow theme is that you need to avoid trying to control or dominate situation just for the sake of being right. Ketu teaches that some battles are better walked away from. All right, and that's about it. That's a wrap on all ascendants, on all moon signs. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, hype, share, and leave a comment as well. I would love to hear your experience about this transit, and I will see you guys again with another new video very soon. Until then, stay tuned with VGS.